So today we talk about Karma Yoga and about Sanatana Dharma. Probably the words don't mean so much to most of you, but of course I will explain. Basically, Karma Yoga is the yoga of selfless service to help people or animals or plants or whoever without any personal agenda. This is an important part of yoga. And then Sanatana Dharma, you can say, is the teaching lineage. At some point, Karma Yoga becomes teaching, and I will explain why. So I'll also be explaining a little bit about why to teach and how to teach and how to be a good student, but especially also those of you who already are teaching or who might be teaching in the future, to give some understanding of the process and how to do it. But first, Karma Yoga. The word karma, I think everybody knows, but few people know that actually the literal meaning of the word karma is action. Whatever you do is karma. Every action you take is karma. So that is really the meaning of the word karma. But in Vedic philosophy, it is also said that every action causes a reaction. And this reaction, of course, also is karma, because a reaction is also an action. So reaction is also karma. And that is more what we understand when we hear the word karma. We see karma as that which comes to us as a result of our past actions. So this is karma. But we've been talking about karma before. Actually, last week we were talking about reincarnation and karma, so there it becomes like very obvious that we need to talk about it. And some time ago we were talking also about dharma, which is your personal role, your job, your duty in this life, and the morality that comes along with it. And there also, of course, karma plays an important role. So we've already been talking quite a lot about karma, which is not really the idea today. Today we talk about Karma Yoga. So, yoga means union. In yoga, we are trying to create union. We are trying to connect to everything. And we are trying to make everything together so that we can find there peace and happiness. So in a way you could say Karma Yoga is about balancing action and reaction. To put it in a very simple way, we all make mistakes. In our past, we have all made mistakes. Karma Yoga is a little bit like a way to compensate for those mistakes. You probably cannot repair whatever you've done wrong in the past, but you can do something else which will remove that karma from you. Your karma is not decided by some divine presence in the heavens who keeps a book about everything, whatever they've done wrong and done right and so on. Your karma is decided by you, by your inner conscience. So if you feel, let's say, a little guilty about things you have done in the past, then that guilt is going to bring some punishment to you. This vibration that you create emotionally through your own feeling of guilt will bring some punishment to you. But you can also try to avoid that by doing something in return, by doing something in compensation, in that way erasing the feeling of guilt within yourself. Now there are many things, of course, that you may have done wrong in the past that you don't remember. So you may feel that you don't really have any guilt about it anymore. But this is only in your conscious mind. in your subconscious mind, still the guilt may be there. Let's say maybe 20 years ago you were mistreating somebody, and again today you are meeting this person. You have completely forgotten about it, you haven't thought about it for the last 19 years, but that person comes back, and again you may feel the guilt when the memory comes of what you have done. So that guilt is still there in your subconscious mind also. So Karma Yoga is not about saying, oh, I have here 10 debts, 10 things that I feel guilty about. So I'll do 10 other things, good things, helpful things to people, more or less of the same magnitude, and in that way my karma sheet will be clean. It is not like that. You honestly don't know what is still there in your subconscious mind. So Karma Yoga is done simply in a way, generally speaking, to reduce your karma. And in that way, change your karma. In that way, change a little bit the things that are happening to you. Make more positive things come to you. We talked about that in last class also. It's no use to condemn yourself to hell for whatever you've done wrong, because from hell, what can you do? From feeling bad, what can you do? You can only do more wrong things from feeling bad. It's only from feeling good that you can do good things, and feeling guilty is not feeling good. So guilt is no use. So in this way, in Karma Yoga, we just generally accept that there is some karmic debt, and that by, let's say, regularly doing some Karma Yoga, we make this debt less, we make ourselves feel better, and in that way also, whatever comes to us is more uplifting, more promoting our growth. This is a very simple way, actually, to look at Karma Yoga, but let's say that is where it starts. Now, when I say karma is action, it must also be clear that it is not only action. In the sense that thought also is karma. Thought also is action. So in that way it is also karma, and it also creates reaction. So doing Karma Yoga does not only involve your time, it does not only involve your body, it also very much involves your thoughts and your feelings. If they are wrong, if they are unhappy, at the time when you are doing your Karma Yoga, this Karma Yoga is entirely useless. Quite on the contrary, may even produce negative results. So this is important. And also desire is karma. So your desire should be there. Your desire should be right. Otherwise it is entirely useless. If you do something for others, you really should desire to do this, and not just do it in a way that you have made a calculation that it would be good for you to do it, and that's why you do it. So it's a little different. So Karma Yoga is selfless service, and it is one of the 4 major yoga paths. There are hundreds of yogas, but all somehow or other belong to one of these paths, or maybe combine some elements of these paths into something new, into some new tradition or practice, which is something everybody has to do. But these 4 yogas, actually nobody can escape from them. There is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga. A lot, but it's quite simple to understand. So Karma Yoga is selfless service. Bhakti Yoga is the yoga of love. To love the divine in whatever way you prefer. This can involve maybe some ritual, like you are singing to God or something. This can also involve your relationship to others, seeing the divine in everybody, and loving everybody, whatever. Bhakti Yoga has many forms, like Karma Yoga has many forms. This is a second way to deal with the ego. In selfless service, it's very obvious. All our lives, we are living for ourselves. All our lives, we are doing things because we think they will make us more happy. But we also understand that this attitude is not making us very happy. That this I, which wants to be happy, is the one who needs to get lost in order to get anywhere. In order to really find happiness, we have to lose the ego. So to lose the ego, we can do it by doing something for others, and not for Peter Marchand or whoever you are, no? For others. In Bhakti Yoga, it is through love that the ego goes. When you love somebody, then also your ego will go. When you really love somebody, that person may ask anything from you, it will not matter. As long as you can be with that person, you will be fine. Same thing in Bhakti Yoga. If you are completely in love with the divine, then you don't think about yourself, and you only want to chant for God and talk about God and eat God and drink God, and your whole life will become one big ritual. Then the third way is to get rid of the ego by reasoning, by trying to think about it, by asking yourself the question, who am I? If you ask, who am I? Who is this Peter Marchand? And you ask it in a serious way, and you really try to find this guy, you will find nobody. In that way, you will also remove the ego, just by reasoning about it, by trying to find it. Because the ego is just an idea. The ego has no real existence. It's just an idea. It's the most principal idea of all the ideas that are in your mind. The idea of I. So, find the I, and you will find there is an I, but this I is not this I. This I is everywhere, the same thing, and nothing personal. So this is Jnana Yoga. And then there is Ashtanga Yoga, which is a fourth way, and an indirect way, you could say. It is a way to remove the ego by stopping mind. As I said, ego is just an idea. If you can stop thinking long enough, the ego will dissolve, the ego will disappear, because it can only exist if you feed it by your thoughts and your feelings. The moment that you can get away from that you can stop thinking, then the ego also is removed. And so that happens in Ashtanga Yoga through meditation. So these four ways are very essential, and we all need them. We need to combine elements of all these in the way which suits us personal in order to make progress. And we may more like this one, or we may more like that one, that does not matter, but some element of every four of them will always be there. Actually, what you will like will be mostly defined by your body type. Your body type actually will define whether you are a person who believes more in thinking, or a person who believes more in feeling, or a person who believes more in doing, or a person who believes more in not doing. And so if you are more into feeling, then obviously you will be very attracted by Bhakti Yoga, because Bhakti Yoga is all about feeling. And if you are more like a thinker, then you will like Jnana Yoga, philosophy, talk about it, think about it, and write about it. And if you are more action-oriented, can't sit still, really wants to do something, then Karma Yoga obviously for you will be logical and attractive, because there you can really do something. And if you are a very quiet person, then obviously you will prefer to be quiet and stop thinking. So in that way, we all have our personal preference, but at the same time, we cannot escape it. We cannot escape these four, because, well, there's only so many things you can do. There's only four things actually that we can do in our life. We can think, we can feel, we can act, and we can stop doing anything. Those are the only four things we can do. There's nothing else you are here doing, nothing else that is to be done. You can think about anything and it will belong to one of these four. Or maybe a combination of them is also possible. So, if you think the truth, Jnana Yoga. If you feel love, Bhakti Yoga. If you act in selfless service, Karma Yoga. If you don't do anything, then don't do anything, Ashtanga Yoga. Right? So in this way it's very simple, and Karma Yoga plays an essential role, maybe not all of the time. At other times, these other yogas may need your attention, but at some time Karma Yoga also will need your attention. And so as I said, there should not be any personal agenda in Karma Yoga. Taking care of your mother is not Karma Yoga. This is your duty as a child. She was taking care for you, now she's getting older, she needs your help, that is duty, that is not Karma Yoga. Taking care of your child is not Karma Yoga. Going to work to earn your money is not Karma Yoga. This is all personal agenda. It is only Karma Yoga if you are doing something and it really has no impact on your own life. It really has no benefit for you. There is no benefit. And not only there is no benefit in money or goods or anything, but also like it should not matter to your public image. The best way to do Karma Yoga is actually doing it without anybody knowing about it. If you can do it in secret, is like the best thing. Only you know it. Nobody else knows it. But okay, in practice this is not always possible. So whenever other people know it, and whenever it seems to affect how they think about you, then ignore that. Don't think about it. Because otherwise, obviously, your ego will start enjoying that everybody thinks you're such a good person, etc., and then, again, it is not Karma Yoga. It is only Karma Yoga if you have no personal benefit. And actually, doing Karma Yoga even goes quite a bit further than that. You should surrender the fruits of your actions to the divine. Which means, whatever you are doing in your Karma Yoga, you should not be expecting any results. That is not up to you. Let's say you are teaching English to some poor children or something who have no other way to get this teaching. Then, obviously you're going to do your best to get the best possible result, but the result itself should not be your concern. The result itself is not your concern. It is up to the divine. You are not the one to decide about that. If you are really thinking that you are doing it, then again it is not Karma Yoga. In Karma Yoga you should be able to surrender everything, the credit, but also the result of your actions. You should accept whatever happens with it. If you maybe give some beggar some money and the guy starts cursing you because he thinks it's not enough, it's possible, then this should not matter. You felt like giving, you gave, that's all. If he is happy with it or not, no matter. So this is important. There should be no doer in karma. In India they say demons only take, gods only give, and human beings they give and take. They are always like a little bit like a business person. They give, but they also want something in return. This is our nature, there's nothing wrong. But if you want to grow closer to the divine, if you want to become less of a taker and more of a giver, then Karma Yoga is the way to do it. We all have so much to do, right? It's not easy. You have to decide that. You have to say, okay, but this much of my time, anyhow, I will devote to that. Nothing to do with me, only for the universe. We have a duty to the universe. To pay that duty is very important. So until now I was just talking about doing some Karma Yoga, now and then. But then there are some people who become Karma Yogis, which is quite a different story. If you become a Karma Yogi, then your personal life stops. You may still have some real needs, like some food, shelter, some basic clothes, and so on. But even they only serve your service. Your whole life at that moment is devoted to selfless service. Your desires are to be ignored. Your needs, as I say, only serve whatever you are doing. And in history we have many examples of people like that, also outside of the Indian tradition. Like in India, very well known is Mother Teresa, who was a Christian lady who devoted all of her life to the poor people there and lived only for that. From the moment she would get up in the morning till in the night when she go to sleep, only that would matter. So one can look at that and say, oh, this is like a very terrible life in a way. But if you then meet people like that, you understand that this is very liberating. This is very liberating to do because, yes, really, they have no more problem. Their own problems are gone, and the people's problems are also not their problems. They cannot believe, Mother Teresa cannot have believed, to remove poverty from India. I'm sure she was not that stupid. No. She very well knew that whatever she was doing was like a drop of water on a hot plate. She knew, but she didn't care. She anyhow did it the best of her ability, and all else leaving it up to the divine. So this is how a real karma yogi is, and such people are very remarkable. Of all the types, let's say, of saints and sadhus and yogis that you can meet, karma yogis in general are the most remarkable and the most admired usually, especially after they die. During life, it's a little bit more difficult to admire them, because if during their life you admire them, then you may feel like you have to, also help them in whatever they are doing. So it's a little more difficult. But anyhow, karma yogis, they are quite popular and very often develop strong healing qualities. So that just their presence is enough to make people feel better, mentally, emotionally, but also physically. This is very common among karma yogis, because they live only for the divine. They have no personal agenda. So, if you feel like it, this is also an option. If you are thinking, oh, I want to get rid of myself, I want to get rid of all these problems, then this is an option. It's a very simple option. You require no special guidance. You require no special techniques. You just give up all personal desire, and whatever you desire is only for the good of everybody. That is all. It's a very simple way to solve a major problem. But if you don't feel sure about it, I don't advise it. You really have to feel sure about that. It's not so easy. So, if you feel like it, just start doing it a bit. And at least make sure that when you do it, whether it's like half a day, a week or something, that you serve something or somebody, that you do it with full intent. That your entire desire, your entire thought, your entire action is only about that. And that you keep your ego out of it. That you keep your personality out of it. That you don't think about yesterday, that you don't think about tomorrow, that you don't think about anything in relation to you, that you only think about this service. That is a very good way to start, and if then you feel this really works for you, then maybe you do it more and more, and then maybe at some point you decide this is up to you. It's always up to you anyhow. Nobody can tell you what to do. But there is one mistake there that you cannot make. You cannot believe that you are going to save the world. You cannot believe that the world needs saving, because the world really does not need saving. Whatever you may see as suffering in the world is an illusion. It is part of the game. There is life and there is death. Without death, how can there be life? There is pleasure and there is pain. Without pain, how can there be pleasure? The same finger that can burn itself in the candle can be pleasured by touching another person. It's the same finger. You cannot have a finger which does this and not that. You cannot have a tongue which tastes only nice foods and cannot taste anything awful. It is not possible. So suffering is part of the game, and it is only an illusion. It is some change in the energies, which is maybe not so pleasant, but as all changes, it comes and it goes. So it is just an illusion and does not touch upon what is real. So your objective should never be to remove all suffering from the world, except the way that Buddha was doing it. The Buddha had as his objective to remove suffering from the world. But he did not want to remove death from the world. He did not want to remove pain from the world and all these things. He only wanted to remove the illusion of suffering by teaching people the true nature of reality, by bringing them closer to the self, by removing them away from their ego and their attachments, which are the only ones who are causing pain. If you are attached to your leg and then you lose your leg, obviously you will feel pain. If you are not attached to your leg and you lose your leg, then you will just walk on and nothing happens.